Hello class, welcome to Unit 2.6, percent increase and decrease. So when we work with percent increase and decrease, it's just really just trying to figure out a number value of how much something has got bigger or smaller. It's pretty much as simple as that. So when we are looking at those numbers, we're going to be taking whatever that new value is minus the original and dividing that value by the original. Once we do that, we can multiply that by 100 to get our percent increase or decrease. Now, when you're looking for a percent increase, your end value will end up being positive. This will be indicating that whatever we're talking about is getting bigger. Maybe something like your height, you're growing, your bank account getting bigger, or any of those things that will increase in value. If you do the calculation and it ends up being a negative number, this is going to indicate a percent decrease. Again, this could be anything that's shrinking. You're trying to, pay away your debt, or maybe even trying to calculate how much something ends up, deteriorating over time. So let's take a look at a few examples. When we look at this first example, we're going to look at from 45 feet to 92 feet. So when you start looking at this, the from 45, that's going to basically tell us that's where it started. So that would be our original, and then 92 would be our new height, or our new length in this case. So let's plug them into our formula, which would be 92 minus 45 divided by the original, and we're going to multiply this by 100 at the end. So if we kind of plug that into our calculator, that leaves us with 47 over 45 times 100. And actually that's going to end up giving us a 1.04 times 100, which is going to leave us with 104% increase. So if we look at that, that kind of makes sense, because it's 100% would be another 45, and it's actually going a little bit above that, because 45 plus 45 would be 90, and we're looking at 92. So that is an answer basically saying it increased its height, basically doubled its height, plus a little more. So let's take a look at another one. In example 2, we're going from 74 hours to 60 hours. So that means the from 47, that is going to be our original value. The 60 will be the new value. And if we plug these in to our equation, we take the new minus the original divided by the original. And we're always going to multiply that by 100 to get that back to a percent. So if we work through those calculations of negative 14 over 74, and that's going to turn into a negative 1.89. It's going to be important that negative falls along, because this is telling us, on top of seeing it go down, this is telling us that we are going to be decreasing in value. So multiply that by 100, and what we're going to have is an 18.9%. And because this value is a negative, that is going to tell us that this is decreasing. So there's our answer. Let's look at another one. For example 3, we're going to look at more of a word problem. So this is saying a manager's salary at Green Dot increased from $48,000 to $51,360. What is the rate of increase? Now it's already telling us that this is going to be an increase, but we still want to look at what is our original, which is the 48,000, and what is the new, which is 51,000. So take those numbers and take that new value, 51,360, minus the 48,000, and divide that by the original. And we're always going to multiply that by 100 then at the end, which is going to leave us with that 3360 over 48,000, which is going to be 0.07 times 100. And what that's going to tell us is we are getting a 7% increase in our salary. All right, let's take a look at another one. Okay, example 4. If Jasmine bought a computer which was discounted from $350 to $273, what is the discount rate? So if we're looking at this, it means our original was the $350, and the $273 would be our new value. So let's plug those in to our formula and see what we come up with. Plugging that in, we're going to end up with a negative 77 over 350 times 100, which is going to be a negative 0.22. And that's going to leave us with a negative 22%. So again, if we have that negative value there, that is going to tell us that this is going to be a decrease, which also is kind of implied here in the problem when we say that this is going to be discounted, and we'll be able to see that come down. So let's use what we talked about in these last 4 problems in our practice. Please complete the problems on the back of that paper. Good luck.